Hello there everyone and welcome back. I had a little bit of fun with Chaos. We surprisingly did well with that fleet. That's not even Chaos, wrong faction. But someone was asking about a little bit of help with playing with the Imperial Navy, and I suppose if nothing else, I might as well have another episode focused on them, even though I just recently did a handful of matches trying to work towards the legend ranking. So this is probably the best we could do without having to really invest in a full-blown guide, since really, until we get like more news for Armada 2 or even Armada 3, there doesn't seem like there's going to be a whole lot of incentive, let alone anything different from what I already included in my first guide. Even though that is kind of like back when Armada 2 was released, and of course, I've learned so much more since then, but I don't think it's all that necessary to do a full-blown guide, but we'll do the next best thing. I'm basically going to play with my 6-cruiser fleet here, my variation of it at least, with the Dictator for support and protection, 2 Overlords with the long-range harassment potential to at least be able to do damage to anyone at range, and of course the Tyrants with all the torpedoes to help be the main source of damage and winning. The only downside with these Overlords is I get very fragile frigates. That is the one big negative to this fleet, but with some good control, they should be alright. That is hopeful. It remains to be seen if that's true or not, but this is as close to a generic fleet as I can probably get. That's currently in my roster, so we will use it as a starting point. Since we kind of seen that some of the most common type of Imperial Navy fleets are the 6 Avenger fleet, which we've seen in my last video, and it did not work very well for them. Otherwise, there's the 4 battleships with the Retributions primarily, although they are of course slow and very immobile with their lack of high energy turn, but they have a lot of power and they can capture points incredibly well, so they can play an objective game they are very dangerous in the objective game is what I mean to say, if the layout allows for it. And then I guess there's 7 Tyrants? You could go, not 7 Tyrants, 7 Gothics or 7 Lunars I believe is possible. But primarily, this is for if you want to rely exclusively on your torpedoes and ramming damage to get victory. You're not going to do a whole lot of notable damage with the broadsides, the broadside weaponry, especially with the Gothics, since really, these are probably the only lances that don't really have long-range potential to them. So when you're basically in the sweet spot for everyone else to pummel you with macro cannons, you're going to again be relying on your ramming and torpedoes to get victory. And never mind, you still have enough points for a handful of frigates, if you just want to get reckless and just mimic what the orcs do. Otherwise, this is close enough as a reference point. So let's get started. Okay, Space Marines. Depending on what they're fielding, my torpedoes are going to make good work out of them, or short work out of them even. Since I am going to be relying almost exclusively on my melted torpedoes, and a little bit of my regular damage torpedoes to kind of get through the hit points and hull of battle barges. It's going to be a different matter altogether trying to kill the strike cruisers, but at the same time they're a lot more fragile to critical hits. So I'm okay with that. And this layout works well for me. It's a nice simplistic layout for my cruisers. Alright, just was quickly turning down audio there because it was a little bit loud on my end. Needless to say, I want to try, if I can grab these 3 points, that's pretty good for me. And it's a nice simplistic singular line for me to control the middle of the map. What I have to be mindful of course, is any boarding torpedoes, any long range harassment they might do. Now, they are immune to morale. I don't think extended sensors helps me very much. Armor piercing probably is the way to go, even though I don't know what they're using just yet. We will see. And actually that's the wrong fleet. I was hoping that was Group 1. There we go. Do I need... Well, disruption overcharge. Disruption bomb is good, but... Stasis bomb... Let's get to plasma bomb. I think that might work better. And disruption bomb to try and get rid of their shields, because that's going to be annoying and problematic.
Your orders?
So what are we looking at here? 3 cruisers or... Huh, okay, so this is an opponent that is probably less experienced because we're looking at a bunch of vanguards, if I had to guess, and 1 frigate. Maybe. This one's slowing down. Is possibly a battle barge. I don't know what to expect just yet of this, but we're going to make our way forward, grab our points, and maybe look into some early... I was going to say maybe some early torpedoes, but is that really worth it? Because a single ship can very easily just dodge.
You have seized a strategic area.
Also, let's listen for anything else that might be afoot. Otherwise, how is torpedoes looking here? My main strategy with torpedoes is to try and intermittently just fire only a couple meltas, mixed with a couple of the dumbfire or damaged torpedoes. At least that way, meltas are negated so easily by emergency repairs, but if only a small handful of them are actually meltas, then they potentially could burn the repairs for almost nothing if I were to get a lucky torpedo hit. So I'm not seeing any upgrades there. There's our battle barge. All I care about is revealing you. And it is double battle barge. That is a good reveal for me.
We serve.
Although the fighters could negate a lot of this. Huh, interesting. A Mark 1 and then a Mark 2. Although sadly they are going to shoot down all the torpedoes that could damage them, but... I couldn't even hit the second battle barge, which is a bit of a shame. Not a big deal though.
Coordinates acknowledged.
But I would have liked to at least got some value out of that.
Aye, Admiral.
And I don't think I'm going to chance it again while those fighters are currently out.
Ship ready.
You have seized a strategic area.
But let's see about getting some early damage in. And
Aye, Admiral.
now I did not want to cold arms, dang it.
Course engaged.
I clicked that a little too preemptively. Either way, I have another frigate.
Ready.
We know that's probably a cruise over there. And what's the upgrades? Huh.
We serve.
Alright, so they infest... It is a lower admiral level, I believe. But they do have their upgrades still.
Engaging target.
And while I think the one with the bombardment can is actually a bigger threat, especially in close, let's try and do some damage here. Actually, let me see if I can get some melta torpedoes. Look, if I'm lucky enough to get a melta torpedo salvo in, that would be amazing.
Aye, Admiral. Setting course.
I doubt I'll be able to, especially with them staggered like they are, but it prompts a response.
We serve. Targeting
And you
enemy
wasted
vessel.
disruption overcharge, I'm afraid to say, but thank you for your valuable intel.
We wait your command. Changing course. Maximum burn.
Alright, so they didn't lightning strike me, but I do have the point defense to deal with this decently enough.
Setting course.
Huh, that was convenient.
We serve. Underway.
Apparently we dealt with that really well somehow.
Understood.
And let me just brace for impact.
Engaging engine.
Let's just grab this point.
Aye, Admiral.
And sadly one of my hunters is about to die.
Acknowledged.
The enemy has seized
It did get the scanner pulse off in time.
Fury interceptors in flight.
That is some really good damage early on, I gotta say. I'm really happy with that.
Burn retro.
Now let's capitalize on it some, because the bombers have been spent. This is going to prompt a boost, so let's be mindful of that.
Imperial escort destroyed.
And sadly, the bomber is gone, or the frigate's gone, but...
Engaging.
Actually, let's continue hitting the flagship.
Engaging engines. For the Emperor.
Now, if that was not a good series of hits, I don't know what was.
You have seized a strategic area.
And plasma bomb doesn't mean much when I have shields still up.
Changing course. Ship ready.
Actually, let me wait for my torpedoes to come back up. That's probably the best thing I can do here.
Aye, Admiral. Setting course. Acquiring new vector.
And with that said, let's get these melt torpedoes out, because I'm very easily going to lose focus here.
Burn retros. Coordinates acknowledged.
That's all she wrote, I think.
Ship ready.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
One of them lost their engines today? No, they burnt all their combustion gauge.
It's your command.
Alright. I think... Yeah, the fire results are going to clean that up really nicely.
We serve.
Just stop ramming the battle barge. Let it just die in a blaze of glory. The way a Space Marine chapter was meant to at least be eradicated. If they are going to be defeated at all. And they do actually have a vanguard, interestingly enough. Although I guess that's a given,
50% of strategic
since we're dealing with 2 battle barge and there was frigates around.
We serve. Setting course. Impossible, Admiral. Changing course.
Now just run for the torpedoes, dodge them, and play with our adversary, because I didn't really board, did I? Which is a bit of a failing, but thankfully it was not needed.
Aye, Admiral. Enemy ship crippled by the
And that might be enough to destroy the deck. Although with them not using their silent running, this is already over. Nice, clean, efficient, although a little confusing why they had one Mark II battle barge and then the other one was a Mark I. But like I said, probably a lower admiral level fleet with the upgrades, but they tried to protect the second battle barge. So they're doing better than most, so I give them that. Yeah, it just was not pretty, the poor fella. This is part of the one thing I'm afraid of. Trying to do these videos, even if I don't showcase this on YouTube, I imagine how many people I'm potentially frustrating to commit to multiplayer. Alright. We're diving into a... Well, Brian Boge. Is this the same fellow from earlier that I just fought? I honestly can't remember. I want to argue it isn't. But either way, it's an opponent I don't really recognize. In an Imperial Navy matchup, no less. So what do I expect? Well, really, I hinted at before there's several different fleets I could go up against, and they could be anything. Although, what do I feel about this objective layout with that said? I probably would commit to having one of my frigates just grab the points. At least one of these side points, and then the rest of the fleet just grabs the other one and see what we can work with. Although, if they go heavy battle cruisers or even grand cruisers, they got a really nice central layout here with these gas clouds, and I don't have much cover to kind of keep them at arm's length the best. But I do want stasis bomb just in case they are a much more powerful close-range fleet than me. Sure, I may be 6 cruisers, but I do have the flexibility to fight at range still, and that will give me some early damage potential that I don't want to overlook. Now, with that said, let me get these fleets organized properly, since I do with a very different type of formation with this kind of 6 cruiser fleet. I don't know if it's actually a good one or not, but I'm going with it regardless. Now, I will go with the Kulex's Assassin. I don't know if I ultimately like the skill, but it's a good way to force one of the ships to not cooperate, especially if I'm lucky enough to destroy their deck. 4 ships, so this strikes me as maybe 4 battleships. We'll be able to find... Okay. Really?
We wait your command.
Really?
Setting course.
I don't know if I should be disappointed or not.
We wait your command.
What about the other 2 with that said? Alright, let's just grab the points. I have the movement advantage, at least for those 2 battleships on the right.
Aye, Admiral.
I just have no idea what the other 2 ships are. And I think I positioned my overlords wrong, did I? I have 1 overlord. Okay, these 2 overlords need to swap.
Your orders?
Just because battlecruisers are a little more resilient to critical
Setting
hits.
course.
And the fighters did go into gas cloud of some kind, I believe, so I can't see them anymore until they're right on top of me.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now, do I brace for impact or not? Actually, I don't have to worry about that so much, but I should be mindful of point defense getting shot down needlessly.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Now, let me get ready to recall these ships quickly, too. If I could preserve my fighter charges, that might help, but I think they're going to be dead before that happens. Nope. I'm going to... That is something I want to practice. Being able to preserve that charge while at the same time stalling. And speaking of stalling, why am I doing this? Because they don't get to shoot down point defense. Because I might need that for later, although it helps if I aim that a little bit better too.
Understood.
Either way, they're recalling them there. I only lost, what, 1 point defense?
Changing course.
The only thing that I could do better with these decoy torpedoes is to potentially aim them at the capital ships.
We wait
Get a
your
little more
command.
damage potential out of it. And actually, let's get this overlord up front, so at least I can maximize my long-range firepower.
Course engaged. Burn retros.
And let's turn and see about grabbing this 1 point over here. Play it a long con. Oh, so 2 retributions, 2 emperors. This is a weird fleet.
Fury interceptors in flight. Underway.
I should be able to deal with them easily enough. Sure, you see me,
Aye, Admiral.
but I also know what's the biggest threat now once I reveal them.
Burn retros. Target locked.
Good.
Underway.
You are revealed to me. Let's be mindful of my shield strengths. It's going to be a little bit trickier to cycle ships around, or at least rotate them around.
High energy turn.
But this will allow for the shields to recharge.
Burn retros. We serve. Understood.
And sadly, this is getting shot at too, isn't it?
We wait your command. Engaging engines. Enemy sighted. Burn retros.
I do have the close range firepower, so even if they kill this frigate off,
Maximum burn.
I could probably just dive bomb them nicely enough.
Aye, Admiral.
Now, let's deny them that damage.
Burn retros. Heading
Yep, they're launching bombers, so
We serve.
where are my fighters with that said?
Heading acknowledged.
I don't see a cooldown charge or anything of note.
We wait your command. Burn retros. Coordinates acknowledged.
Now let's try and get behind them some, because this is going to hurt a lot, because my ships are isolate now.
Engaging engines. Aye, Admiral.
Nope, that's a dumb idea.
We serve.
I saw I told you to stop, but I guess I didn't.
Course engaged. Ship ready.
So that's an embarrassing display there, but
We wait your command.
we got good hits on the flagship at least, so
Coordinates acknowledged.
Now, can we stop it in its tracks? Because apparently they burnt all their combustion gauge.
Engaging engines.
Just continue and hammer this ship.
Burn retros. Aye, Admiral.
I'll let them have their one victory there.
Engaging.
Hammer that with the railguns. Torpedo the hell out this one.
We wait your command.
Which sadly, they did get
Impossible, Admiral.
the shots. They did knock out my torpedoes.
Engines. Aye, Admiral.
The enemy has accumulated.
Well, let's keep this going.
25% of strategic
Ramming speed is engaged.
Assault crews report success. We wait your command.
Now let's take out two birds with one stone, shall we?
Understood.
At least make the attempt.
We serve. Underway.
And which one has the Kulex's assassin?
Acknowledged. Ship ready.
Flagship's gone. Let's go for next.
25% of strategic points.
Your orders.
I would like a Kulex's assassin on that ship right now.
Execute high energy turn. Setting course.
Because we're not out of the woods yet, despite my mistakes.
Emergency repairs. Understood.
The deck's not gone though, so let's try and keep that in mind.
We serve. We wait your command.
And let's have... Well, that was bad torpedo shot, I guess.
Aye, Admiral. Starhawks loaded and sent. Heading acknowledged. We wait your command.
I probably didn't need to brace for impact, but let's finish off this other retribution. Although it's about to lose its deck permanently.
Assault crews report success.
So maybe I don't need to do anything until after the deck's destroyed.
Enemy ship crippled by the lightning strike. Engaging target. Your orders.
You know, I didn't have the convenience to do anything there. I messed up on my control, but deck's about gone on you.
Course engaged.
Finish it off.
Changing course.
And I still have a frigate I completely forgot about. Not that I really need it anymore, but
You have accumulated 50%.
you're
of
mutinied.
strategic points.
That's good. We are... And 30 seconds I'll be able to rally you.
Starhawks loaded and sent.
And one has torpedoes? You don't. So you're just going to commit to ramming. You sadly don't anymore have the potential for ramming.
We serve.
But
Aye, Admiral.
where's my flagship? It's either to rally or repair. I think I'll choose to rally.
Ship ready.
Its 3 fire results is pretty damn good in this exchange.
We wait your command. Heading acknowledged. We serve.
Kill this thing off.
Damage team begin
What do we have for
repairs
weapons? No torpedoes, but we do have broadside weaponry.
Seized a strategic area.
And I have ramming.
now. Ship ready.
The enemy has accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Although I should be trying to grab their points, I guess. With this frigate. As I said, I forgot about it.
Engaging engines.
That's enough damage there.
Orders. Burn retros.
Alright, you're gone now. It'll take a moment, but you're gone. They just don't realize it yet.
Starhawks loaded and sent. Course engaged. Changing course.
And try and make this thing dodge the macro cannons.
Aye, Admiral.
I am not happy with how this match played out. I have played that poorly.
Engaging engines.
But we're not going to let that deter us yet.
Your orders.
You have seized a
Although,
strategic
if you
area.
could survive, that would be great.
Course engaged.
There.
Wait your command.
We're about to get our engines back up and we'll be back underway
Ship ready.
in 20 seconds at least.
Maximum burn.
I still have my dictator to deal with bombers really well. I'm just going to have them up in about 20 more seconds.
We wait your command. Ship ready.
Now please tell me you are able to intercept. Thank you.
All ahead, full. Underway.
Now I spent all my charges, but we have weaponry to fight back with.
Changing course.
And I still have a Colexus Assassin, but sadly I never did prioritize the deck.
We wait your command.
But if I can lightning strike and force that mutiny, that makes up for it.
Understood.
And I gotta watch my combustion gauge too.
Maximum burn.
Oh yeah, and what I'm trying to also do is
Setting course.
pause and start my boosters to kind of help dodge these shots a little bit better.
Hitting enemy vessel.
At least it helps
Changing
slightly.
course.
Because I got plenty of health, I got the
All ahead, full.
I got the point lead as far as objectives concerned,
Course engaged.
and my fighters are going to easily intercept them. I just gotta get through that shield now, which shouldn't be a problem. What is our torpedo status looking
Aye,
like?
Admiral.
2 cruisers with torpedoes.
Understood.
You have accumulated 75% of strategic
Oh, and they're
points.
launching their own fighters. Okay, so I want to preserve that charge if I can at all.
Orders. Heading acknowledged.
You have seized a strategic area.
Actually, let's have you just go grab the points.
Ship ready.
You were good for that. Did I save the fighters, though?
Heading acknowledged.
I don't think I saved the fighters.
All ahead, full.
Yep, so we're gonna have to do this the traditional way, I guess. And they just recently repaired, so
Underway.
let's try and get some damage in.
Reloading.
Setting course.
Oh, I thought they recently repaired. I guess I was wrong, but
Your
it
orders.
means they don't have it for later.
Setting course. We serve. Maximum burn.
Okay, I got the ram in.
Aye, Admiral.
That is good enough for me.
Course engaged.
The enemy has accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Now, can this frigate get one more fire assault for me? Ooh, even better. How about 2 for the price of 1? Don't underestimate the frigates. It's just a shame I've been forgetting about the poor fellas so much. They finally got the boarding, but it's too little too late. Too little too late.
Starhawks loaded and set.
They are now limping and dead.
Reporting successful boarding action.
I messed up with my own control there, but at the end of the day, we just took advantage with what we had. And that is superior close-range firepower and a lot of torpedoes to pummel them with. Their hit points be damned. I'm still not happy with that match, though. At least it helped to make it dramatic, I guess. Alright, Imperial Navy versus Chaos this time. This will be a fun matchup, since I talked about how my overlords were meant to help do damage at range. And Chaos, of course, want to try, at least most of the time, to stay at range. So we'll see if I can get close, is how this match might play out. If I can get within point-blank range to hit with, well, not really armor-piercing rounds, but to hit with maybe torpedoes and some good ramming on top of that if I'm so lucky, then their fleet should potentially melt very quickly. Since I have the 83 armor, Chaos does not. And again, I still have the potential of long-range weaponry, but they could avoid it pretty well. They could anyway. We'll see if that's what happens. Otherwise, where do I expect them to go? Probably just grab this point, then just sprint forward, maybe. If I were to be honest. Other than that, I'm still wondering if I want to collect this assassin or not. Although, yeah, because advanced void shield void shield pattern can be useful, and especially if I'm good about spreading out the damage on my shields. I'm just gonna try for the sake of it. And actually, let me swap these skills because apparently they're in the wrong order. I think this could go well. It can, but it depends what we're up against as far as a fleet, I guess, too. Alright, so this strikes me as some kind of grand cruiser type of fleet, maybe? They're not moving.
Your orders?
I can launch fighters to sea.
Ship ready.
Let's identify them and see what we're up against. I just don't know what I want to prioritize exactly.
Your orders?
Not yet. I know there was Slaanesh favor on there, or at least they had the Slaanesh sub-faction. So they can turn off my shields immediately when I do finally get close.
Understood.
Now, I would like to fire torpedoes. How can I not hit myself is the
We
question.
serve.
Oh, I accidentally fired all regular torpedoes. I hit control instead of shift when I activate them. And this will prompt a response of some kind at least.
Heading acknowledged.
I'm curious to see if this will make them overreact.
You have seized a strategic area.
Because they're not boosting yet.
Aye, Admiral.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Alright, so devastation. I am sadly going to lose my fire, but this might be some good torpedo hits.
Sighted.
Oh,
We wait your command.
well, that's a convenient start for me.
Changing course.
I didn't get as many hits as I was like, though, but I could deal with their dang bombers. It's just a shame I had to lose out on some fighters, though. That's always the downside.
Setting course. Your orders?
Now, I do have a stasis bomb, and I am curious
Aye, Admiral.
what these are here. Are they all fighters? Yeah, they are all fighters, apparently.
Ship ready.
So let them launch the fighters. Let me watch my shields. That's the most important thing here.
We serve. All ahead, full.
Because I got the upgrade for it, so might as well damn well take advantage of it. And just have them go after
We wait your
my
command.
ships. And we'll start with a small fry first.
Underway.
Maximum burn. Underway.
Get my shots in, have them chase the torpedoes a
Burn
bit.
retros.
Let the shields recharge. Rinse,
Ship
repeat.
ready.
I do need to start cycling my ships, which can hurt my damage potential though.
Your orders? Maximum burn. Aye, Admiral.
Alright, this is probably when I'm going to do my damage.
Understood.
Or at least start going in. I should start to go in aggressively, but
Burn retros.
I accidentally burned retros at the
Has
same
seized
time.
a strategic area.
And that should prompt them to boost.
Initiate emergency repairs. All ahead, full.
Sadly, I wasted this opportunity. I'm sacrificing my frigates poorly.
Engaging engines.
But now I'm behind them,
Your orders?
and that wasted a lot of their ability.
Lost.
Target locked in.
Stasis bomb's gonna trap this one, if only just barely, so let's take advantage of it.
Engaging. Changing course.
Going in for the kill, folks.
Setting course. Fury interceptors in flight. We wait your command. Coordinates acknowledged.
Now kill this thing now. They only turned off a couple of my ships. If only briefly, so...
Engaging target.
Their bombers are hitting me though, and my fighters could nail them. Could take them out still.
Lightning strike successful.
Your orders?
Get ready for... Well, that was... Alright, I was wondering why that didn't seem like it hit. Go for the battleship kill.
Understood.
Because what did I already say?
Ship ready.
I am better at this than you in close range.
Accumulated 25% to strategic.
So let's just keep on ramming. Although I would have liked more fire assaults,
Engaging
if I were to be honest, but
execute high energy turn.
we got the point defense to deal with these pretty well.
Your orders? Understood.
Turn around since they can't hit me. Actually, let's force them to keep running. Give me more breathing room.
Changing course.
Actually, I have torpedoes for you.
We wait your command. Heading acknowledged.
The enemy has accumulated 25%.
Good torpedo hits there. Disruption bomb did its thing. Now, let's kill this devastation. Although you, I
New vector.
have a date with the battleship.
Your orders? Ship ready. Assault crews report success.
Alright, that's pretty much dead.
Underway.
Rammed them a little bit more and this is over.
We wait your command.
All ahead full.
Bombers are going to hurt me at this kind of distance, but that's all the spoilers really have going for them right now. Especially now that all three of them are about to pretty much gone. Do I have rally? Yes, I do.
Course engaged.
We wait your command.
You, my friend, just finish off the battleship in style.
Have accumulated 50%.
Enjoy. One final ram to obliterate this thing. And a bit of clipping for good effect. I don't really like the triple despoiler. Sure, it did some notable damage, but you're sacrificing a lot of mobility, and again, your opponent can mitigate, or at least hinder the effectiveness that the bombers can do. Either way, it is a regular type of fleet I sometimes see, and I want to believe the void shields did well at taking the long-range hits. I probably didn't want to stay at that range because I'm so much better in close. And it's made apparent once I start getting the torpedoes and ramming in. It is a sight to behold.